Hey, what's up, everybody? Lawler here, and hope you're all having a fantastic day. While I was scrolling through my Twitter feed, I actually came across a post from ShiftRLE Esports, and they said that after a year of no LAN tournaments, we decided to go back in time and revisit the past Worlds LANs and let you decide which was your favorite. I kind of stalked this, or I guess kept tabs on it throughout the day just to see like what people thought were the best LANs. So I figured it'd be kind of fun to actually do that myself. So today's video, we're going to be actually going through this bracket. I'm going to be talking about some of the LANs, some of the big moments, the reasons why I think some are better than others. And then we'll kind of go from there. So they organize these, I guess, in a very unique way. And there's a little bit of context that I'll try to provide about why the bracket is the way that it is. And throughout the video, you should see like the bracket here in the post, as well as like who we're debating on and kind of the inserts that we're actually reading about from the tweet. A link to that will also be in the description down below if you'd like to follow along and interact with the post as well. Also, there is plans, for those that do not know, to sit down with a world champion from every single world championship at one point or another and discuss with them what it was like for them to go through the world championship and kind of do all that kind of stuff. The plan right now is for season 2. We're going to be sitting down with Marky Duda. It's just a matter of finding a time and when things all work out. I also have some plans for some fun interviews coming up, as well as a studio tour and a bunch of other things going on. So a lot of videos planned coming up here in the next week or two. So first of all, let's take a look at this graphic, and the bracket shows your favorite RLCS Worlds LAN. We got season 5 versus season 2, 8-4, 3-1, and 6-7. Some of these are going to be really difficult. I think some of these are going to be really easy. So with that said, let's read the context of what they provide for the first one, and then I'll provide my own, and then kind of talk my answer through. So first one is going to be season 5 versus season 2. They say first up, it's 2 of the 3 EU events. London had arguably the best crowd to date, that grand final. The call from Shogun. Amsterdam had fan favorites Flipside Tactics taking it all. Will London cruise to victory, or will Amsterdam pick up an unlikely dub? Two sides to this. The first thing is I do think they don't give enough credit to season 2, because season 2, like, it's like, oh god, look at all these amazing things about London. Oh yeah, there's Amsterdam. So I think that's a problem. So 2 things that I want to point out in favor of Amsterdam. Number 1, to this day, even now, the only other after party that comes remotely close was Vegas in season 6. Every other after party pales in comparison to Amsterdam. And if you were a person that was able to attend that, whether you were a pro or non-pro, the level of intimacy and the ability to interact with your favorite people at LAN, it felt like all the homies just hanging out. The after party was sick. There was a lot of really fun things to do, like a dance floor. Maybe Wojtek can show carpet dancing on the dance floor here somewhere, if you guys have ever seen that clip. Just a really good time. They had food trucks and games and beer pong tables and like a VIP. It was super sick. Amsterdam after party, by far one of the best, if not the best. The only reason why season 6 is better, probably in my eyes, is because it was Vegas and it just never ended. We just get to go gambling and drink and hang out with the crew. So I don't think Amsterdam gets enough credit. The other thing is it is the first European LAN ever. It is the first time that we got to go over to Europe and see what it was like over there. So for me, a special feeling of being able to be my first international trip that I've ever experienced. So that was really cool. And despite saying all this stuff, like, of course it's London. How do you not pick London? I understand why it's a landslide, and I have to play devil's advocate in this. But yeah, season 5 is going to win over season 2, even though season 2 is sick. First time in Amsterdam, first time with an EU crowd. Got to see the team that we all assumed was going to win in season 1 bounce back. No longer Mike Rules. You see Greasy coming over. A lot of cool storylines in season 2. But season 5 has the goal. It has the greatest goal in Rocket League history. The feeling of watching that goal live is probably like legitimately the top like 3 moments of my life. So yeah, Landon's pretty sick. We're gonna go with season 5 winning in the bracket here. Up next, we got season 8 versus season 4. This is the synopsis they give. Next matchup, Madrid versus Washington DC. TurboPulsa became the first ever player to win RLCS Worlds more than once in Washington, but he also helped Energy lift the RLCS trophy for the first time in Madrid. Safe to say both were special for the Swede. So we're going to start and do this in chronological. We're going to start with season 4. So season 4 was Washington, DC, East Coast LAN. One of the best viewerships and best attended LANs, I would say. A lot of people came out to this event. It was pretty poppin'. We got some really cool things out of season 4 in regards to the way that the event was handled. It was at a really nice hotel. Personally, the ability to go from my hotel room and then have the like theater where we watched it straight in the same place was awesome. There was also a casino in the hotel, which was really cool. I think the actual like storylines of what came to be is you saw Turbo Pulsa as a sub, but you also now got to see him on a starting roster that was super dominant. And could he show that it wasn't just a fluke? This was the first time we were ever seeing a 2-time world champion, which was also pretty awesome. So that, I think, is a very special moment in Rocket League history and was the foundation of what became the 3-time and the 4-time, because it was being built upon of just, oh, he's a sub and he crushed it. Like, this player is really exceptional and he's going to be considered a player that on LAN is one of the best. This is the early beginnings of that. So I think that's a really big deal. On the other side, honestly, Madrid was cool for the storyline. Garrett G had been to every single world championship. Turbo Pulsa got brought in to hopefully be the difference maker, to keep them calm and fix the mentality. I can admit I teared up on the desk watching Garrett's reaction and how he reacted to the whole thing, because I know he'd been working for that for so long. So Madrid definitely has a special place in my heart. But being completely honest, other than Madrid itself being really, really cool, just because obviously being an American, being able to go to other places that are out of country and internationally are always going to weigh really heavily for me because I love to travel. But Madrid as a LAN was actually pretty poor. The crowd was pretty lackluster in the scheme of things, like turnout wise. The Spanish and English broadcasting was bad. There was a lot of mistakes from production, and not the like production team, but a certain someone on that broadcast team that kept pissing me off, to be lack of a better phrase. So there was a lot of things that went poorly. I will say that with the way that things were executed, the merch was lackluster. The venue choice was kind of here nor there. But overall, like, Madrid was cool by all means. Like, Madrid was cool. But if I look back at it, I think the venue was better. The show up was better. It was handled more professionally. The way the sponsorship stuff was done with Nissan Cup Noodles, the crowd interaction, being in the crowd with everybody behind us with all the fun signs and stuff, and the guy doing backflips and talking on his phone with the shoe. All of those kind of things were, I think, leagues ahead. I personally would probably pick DC over Madrid. I think the one gleaming thing, the one like bright light that is why I think this is winning so heavily, and a little bit maybe of recency bias, is the fact that Energy won and Garrett G won the trophy. I think Season 8 has that for sure, but everything else, venue, location, show up, community support, sponsorship support, production levels, like everything, I think, and even the matches, like, were pretty dang good in DC. So I think I'm going to give it to DC, actually. I think I'm going to give it to Season 4. Also, if you guys don't remember, that's where the squishy shot went down. So, like, pretty sick. Up next, we got Season 3 versus Season 1, the synopsis they provide for this. The RLCS trophy has visited Los Angeles 3 times, and it's an LA shootout here. Season 3 saw the aforementioned Turbo win Worlds for the first time, finishing a spectacular substitute performance. On the other hand, Season 1 is where the Mountain took his famous win. This one is going to, I think, be pretty heavily in favor for me, actually, for Season 1. I'm surprised that so many people picked Season 3 in this one. And I think it's because there's a lot of people that are new to the scene that weren't around for Season 1. Season 3, by all means, was awesome. Turbo winning as a substitute in replace of Remco. This is after Remco's history in his career has pretty much always been finish third, and then kind of just fall out. So for them to go through, they also beat Mocket, which a lot of people were hoping for because Mocket was known as evil back then. But Season 3 just felt kind of lackluster. There wasn't a whole lot to it that really felt special to me. I try to think of like even the after party and like all the other things that go around from it, and it doesn't really feel that great. I think the one awesome thing that did come out of Season 3 is that is when I met Phantom Ace, Neat Mike, Wolfless, and John Sandman. I think that's probably the best thing that came out of Season 3 was getting to hang out and get to interact with John and the rest of the F2 guys. I think that's like the one time that I was like, heck yeah, Season 3 is pretty dope. They also took away liquor from this after party. There was beer only. I'm not going to get into that story or provide that information, but we had some fun and tried to make our own fun. But for the event itself, like, yeah, Turbo winning as a sub, like, pretty cool storyline. But to say it's better than the first ever, I think is kind of ridiculous. The first LAN for a lot of people is held really special, even though I think season 5 is insane. And I'll probably have to review this later on, but season 1 for me was a moment that it was kind of the culmination of all the hard work, all the stuff from online, all the players, all the SART vets and otherwise that have been working really hard finally got to get together. You saw a lot of the SART vets like Cookser and Marky meeting for the very first time despite knowing each other for 8 years, even though it was in a nightclub called the Avalon, super close and super tight knit. And there was a lot of complications and really early beginnings of Rocket League. It cemented that, yes, 70,000 people want to watch this game and it could be the biggest esport. It was the foundation of what Rocket League esports was going to become. And it basically like kickstarted all of our passions to another level. Like we already knew we loved what we were doing, but after casting live for an event for the first time, for me personally, it was the over zero air dribble call that like really solidified it for me. But season 1 like was insane. The after party was super fun. It was very intimate is the best way I can put it. I think the people that you interacted with, the people that you got to meet were all the OG community members that I'm still pretty close friends with to this day. I don't know how people can pick season 3 over season 1 personally. So I'm personally going to go with season 1. So right now the winners are season 5, season 4, and season 1. Let's go to the last quarterfinal match, I guess is the best way to do it. We've got season 6 versus season 7. As for the synopsis, they say, last but not least, it's Vegas versus Jersey. In season 6, we saw Cloud9 bringing the title back to North America for the first time since season 1 in a thrilling grand final. Meanwhile, season 7 introduced a new format, South America, and inspiring underdog runs, and what could have been if INTZ took down NRG. Also, alongside that, G2 and Vitality play some of the best Rocket League. We get some teams that are by the name of Rogue that see a top 4 performance for North America. Every single North American team out of groups was absolutely dominant. You got to see that. You also saw Vitality run the gauntlet. They went through NRG, they went through Cloud9, they went through G2. They went through the top 3 in North America and still won the whole thing. It was also Scrubkiller making it back. And even though it was his second season, it was his first LAN ever attended. And he won the whole thing and then made it to the grand finals the next season, season 8. So season 6, Vegas was sick. I think Vegas is a really fun venue. I think it's a really cool town. As long as you don't stay or overstay, you're welcome. I really enjoy Vegas as a city just because it's fun to go and hang out. It makes after party stuff super easy. And the after party at Vegas was actually pretty cool. I think New Jersey was at a LAN center and was all right, I guess. I don't know. It was kind of cool. I'm just trying to think about it from like my perspective of like the memories that I have with it. I think I was completely baffled by what Cloud9 did. To put perspective, in season 6, Dignitas was expected to win a third one. They went absolutely perfect in the season. They did not drop a single game the entire league play, the entire playoffs, in regionals, and they made it all the way to the grand finals of the World Championship and lost 2 games. That's it. That's the only games they lost, where you played literally perfect all season, and then when it comes down to the one that matters the most, you lose twice, 4-1, 4-1. So that moment shocked a lot of us. A very interesting moment. I still remember after the games went down, and I wonder if Wojtek can find a clip of this, but after the games went down, if you watch the after movie video, I think you might be able to see it. Me and Gibbs run down from the desk, and he picks up, I think he picks up Gimmick, and I pick up Squishy, and like we just like bear hug him and pick him up, and like just an unreal feeling for the crown to come back to North America. So that in itself was really good. I do think season 7 gameplay was probably better, and like the actual final was a little bit more exciting, but season 6 was also the last time that we saw the whole bracket reset double elimination thing. I think I'm gonna go with season 6. New Jersey was pretty awesome. And there was some fun moments to it. I think the venue, season 7 was unreal. Crowd was super loud, really interactive, a lot of good chants. It was loud there, but I think season 6 is definitely misrepresented. It was unbelievably loud in there with people chanting. Definitely home favorites with Cloud9 and the fact that Cloud9 made it. You're talking everybody holding up their phones and doing that. Oh, shit, season 7. Ooh, season 7 had the waved in it. Oh man. Oh, that makes things worse. We set a world record. Can I give it a tie? I think personally I had a better time in Vegas myself. I think I had a better time in Vegas and had more fun in Vegas with the content that was made and the interviews and all the extra stuff. But Jersey as a entertainment side, I think was more entertaining. I think the storylines and what all went down and like the moments that were created with Golden Boy as a host, I think Jersey was better. So for that, I'm going to give a nod to Vegas because I'm talking the overall experience for a LAN, not just the games, because going to a LAN isn't just about the gameplay. It's not just about going and watching your favorite teams play. It's also about the people you interact with, the memories you create, the things you go and do sometimes outside of the Rocket League stuff. Rocket League is what brings us all together, but the event itself and the weekend or whatever it is, I was there super long. I was there for like a week and a half because I flew out early to hang with some friends and went and kind of did some day drinking and just hanging out. Then it was going to be working all week. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Vegas. The community chose Vegas as well in this one. I think I'm going to stick with it. So because I've given a little bit of a synopsis of all of these, let's go in and we're going to kind of close these out a little bit faster. Just as a quick rehash, we've got Season 5 versus Season 4, and we've got Season 1 versus Season 6. These are a little bit tougher. So for Season 5 versus Season 4, you have to go with London. I don't think Washington, even though Washington had a lot of cool moments, London is probably one of the best LANs we've ever seen, just because of all the moments, the chants, the crowd interaction, the singing of the songs, the Matsunara stuff. If you guys haven't seen Doomsy's video about the best chants from Season 5, make sure you guys go check out that video. But London was a very special time. It was the first time we got the England crowd and really experienced what it was like to have a football game and that kind of a level of fandom. Season 5 was just phenomenal. It really was. So unfortunately, Washington, you're not going to win this one. Season 5 is going to move to the grand finals. As for Season 1 versus Season 6, I think this one's tough as well because Season 1 is a very special place in my heart. There's a lot of really fond memories, a lot of firsts. And if I look at, honestly, all the way from Season 1, from start to finish, arriving, meeting all the pros and the players, commentating the event, getting the reaction to the crowd, meeting a lot of people for the first time, just kind of really starting that foundation. You know, the poster boy in Kronovi winning the world championship, who should have been the MVP, not over0, and like a lot of different things like that, as well as the after party and the stories and the Leaf and Lawler after show nonsense and hanging out with Sad Jr. and Kevin and sharing a room and like all that kind of stuff. And if I compare that to Season 6, which again, Squishy and Cloud9 and the rest of the guys having the biggest upset that we've ever seen, probably just because of what Dignitas achieved. You also have the after party and all that. I spent a little bit extra time before. I also hung out with Painted Minds and CJ and all those guys and boot camped and stuff with them for a little bit and helped conduct the interviews at the Luxor. Both have some really fond memories, and this just kind of reminds me of the fact that I don't have my like lanyards or my guest passes anymore. Apparently they got thrown out. They just weren't, like, they got lost in the move. It's the one thing I lost in the move, and it like, oh, it hits hard. It really sucks. This one would be a coin flip for me. I think both have their moments really well. The after parties and stuff, like, both are top tier. And the things that we did, I think before the event as well, I did a lot of really cool stuff. Season 6 probably a little bit more just because I wasn't as nervous and I was kind of like a seasoned vet at this point, so I didn't stress over some of the things that I normally would, and I prepped a lot better just so I was ready to go. I think either of these could win for me personally. I think either of these could win. Because of that, I think I am going to go with Season 1. I don't think anything for me personally will top the first time. The feeling and the level of love that this game received and this pro scene was received after the first event, I think it blew all expectations. It showed everybody like Rocket League Esports is here. It is something to continue. All the hard work from the first season and trying to figure out how things were going to go in a live environment, getting used to that feeling, for me personally, really kickstarted a passion in my life to say, like, I want this to be my career. So Season 1 and Season 5, honestly, it depends on how you look at it. I think you look at a multitude of things in like the parties and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think Season 1 outside of the RLCS, I think outside of like the games, Season 1 is leagues ahead of Season 5. But when you add things up, what it does, the feeling, the moments, all that kind of stuff, it was picture perfect. Honestly, Season 5 to me is the winner over Season 1. Season 1 will have a special place in my heart, and I think that's where it is. It's like, it's always going to be like something I was like, yeah, but Season 1 this and that and another. But Season 5, like, I know people who don't even watch Rocket League Esports that talk about that shot. ESPN, the coverage, everything that came with it. It really put Rocket League and Rocket League Esports at the front of conversation of like, okay, this game should be a tier 1 in some point in the future. So season 5, I know it's a little bit obvious, is going to be my winner of my favorite RLCS Worlds LAN. The feeling of finishing up my day of casting, going and sitting by the other casters and the other pros and the people that have been knocked out, and cheering and going crazy and losing your voice. And then I think dancing in a circle with CJ, Kami, and I think Freaky when Justin scored that shot. It is a memory I will never forget, and is wide as one of the greatest moments in Rocket League history. That is going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoy this kind of content. There's some other things similar to it that I'm going to be putting out soon, but if you want to make sure you don't miss out on that, make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family or whoever you think would like it, as well as making sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so don't miss out on any of the future videos. If you do have any questions, comments, concerns, leave those down below. And with that said, I will see you next time. Peace.